We're live.
Hi, I'm Laura. Since I was young, I had a little voice in my head that said, "Why are we here? And there must be something more." I've spent years researching about life and why some people find massive success and some don't. So let's connect here weekly and talk about topics that will elevate our soul and inspire greatness from within. This is the I Am Laura podcast show, where sparkling inside out will empower our tomorrow.
Good morning from Sydney, Australia. We are 7:12 a.m. We are going live. We are going live, and we're going to have some fun today. If you're watching from America, hello. I think it's our early afternoon for you. I'll have to double check with our guest star in a moment, Nancy. I'm so excited because, as you know, I'm all about inspiring greatness within. So is our community, and I love to interview guest stars who have wonderful information that can help us live inside out and live the dream life that you were born to be. You're not supposed to be here on this earth and live in struggles and living chaos and just be stressed out all the time. There are tools that we can use in order to have a beautiful life, living in a beautiful joy and happiness state. And then when you're living in that creative state, you can go out and create anything you want in this world. Yes, that's right, anything you want. So we have a beautiful guest star on today. She is all about living inside out. Let me just read her bio real quick and I'll bring her on to have a really great discussion. But if you are watching this on YouTube, please do subscribe if you like information like this, because then you can get notified of our upcoming videos weekly. And if you are listening on podcast, thanks so much for tuning in and subscribing and sharing with your audience. And then, of course, last but not least, Facebook and Instagram. Thank you so much for tuning into the live. Put your comments in below and we'd love to answer them as we're live. Okay, so Nancy, as the founder of Mastering Your Beliefs, Nancy's clients usually refer to her as their sensei. I love that. A little from her days as a student, competitor, and teacher in the martial arts. Martial arts taught Nancy that her strongest weapon is not her physical strength, it's her inner strength, the power of her mind. I love that. Nancy has known she was meant to teach and speak in front of people since she was 14 years old. However, her 14-year-old self did not believe it was possible because she was living a life of secrets that included mental abuse, verbal abuse, and physical abuse that escalated to sexual abuse by the age of 12. In a world where the demands of daily life often drawn out the whispers of our deepest selves, the need for inner child caring, healing has never been more pronounced. Nancy is a passionate advocate and speaker on the transformative power of nurturing our wounded inner child. Nancy has emerged, I should say, as a trusted guide, empowering individuals to embark on a journey of self-discovery, healing, and growth. So today we're going to give you tangible tools on how you can live in a beautiful, successful life and nurture that inner child. So let's bring on and welcome beautiful Nancy. Hello from the US of A.
Hi, Laura. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so great. I'm so honored that you've taken the time to come onto this show today. I know it's going to be a hot discussion. It's going to be powerful. And I guess for the viewers that they're seeing you for the first time on my channel, let's add a little bit of a bio, but let's just give a little bit of background to the beautiful Nancy.
Well, first of all, I think the most important thing is I love my life. That's my tagline. I love my life. And it took me a long time to be able to say that. Because really, what does that mean when you love your life? It means that you love how you show up every day. And, that's why I think inner child work is so, so, so important. And it's one of the most loving gifts you can give yourself, learning to heal your inner child. Because
I love that.
Yeah, everything that we do is based on something that started in childhood, everything.
I love that. And so I asked you, we got on a call last week, Nancy, and maybe it was earlier this week. And I actually asked you, so what is this inner child thing? Like, what does it actually mean? So maybe we can nut it out for the audience just really early in the piece here. So when you mention inner work, inner child, what does that mean for the viewers?
Well, we all have an inner child, that little boy or girl inside of us who started believing that life was a certain way. And we believe that based on what we're taught, what we're intuited, how we view the world, how we view life, how we view how life works. And we're viewing this all from our child self. So, of course, children understand the world way different than adults do. They have way less information. The information that they receive is often given to them by adults, caregivers, parents, teachers, peers. And so we take these on as our truths. And because we take these on as our truth, it becomes our belief. And a belief is just something that you think over and over and over and over again. So in other words, if you're told often enough that you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not tall enough, whatever enough, you're going to bring those beliefs with you into adulthood. And this is why there are so many adults walking around thinking that they can't do, be, or have whatever they want because they're still enmeshed in those limiting beliefs that they grew up with. So healing your inner child, that inner child work, is learning how to have these wonderful, loving conversations with your inner self, that little child inside of you. And when you can learn to speak to yourself lovingly and caringly, it makes all the difference, because most of us speak so harshly to ourselves. We're so mean to ourselves. We're just so visceral to ourselves. And frankly, if we treated others the way we treat ourselves, most people wouldn't stick around very long.
Oh, I agree with that, Nancy. We are so harsh to ourselves, always saying, "Oh, we're so fat," or "We've got wrinkles," or this or that, or all the negative talk. And I just heard, it's funny that we're having this conversation this morning, because yesterday I heard this thing on YouTube. It was a lady talking on stage somewhere, a motivational speaker, and she would say, "Cut out the trash talk." She said something like, if we've got tools to help us be healthier, why don't we have tools to help us have a better mindset? And so she got everyone in the audience to get up and start like shaking it off and doing like this exercise. However, I was kind of like, okay, yeah, I've heard that before. And then she started out with like a dance. She was like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, I'm just gonna do it. And she was dancing and the whole audience was dancing, and it was kind of funny because it was like carefree. But as I was listening to this YouTube talk, I started smiling, and it started lifting up my energy. And yeah, it was a little bit silly, but I think that was the point of it, to get you out of your head and just into your body and enjoying the energy in the moment. And she said she would do that every day. So every day she has negative talk. And this woman is a powerhouse. She's got like millions of viewers in Singapore. Then she decided to break into the English market and do that all from cold and do English speaking activities and so forth. And she's built that up as well. But even her, a very successful woman, has negative talk. And so she used this tool every day to get herself out of the negative head and into a body and into a fun sort of juju, if you will. So I love that you spoke about negative talk, and I agree with that woman and yourself. It's like trash in your mind. So are there things that you've discovered in this world that you use in order to kind of break that negative talk and that cycle and have more of a positive mindset daily? Because I know it's an ongoing thing, isn't it, Nancy?
It is. And the thing that this woman is teaching people is how to change their vibration. We talk about vibration, and it's really important to remember that everything is energy. We live in a universe of energy. Everything is connected. So when you really take that in, when you understand that, you realize that it's more important how you're feeling than even what you're thinking or what you're doing. Because if what you're doing and thinking is creating a negative feeling, then your day is going to go downhill from there. So what this woman is teaching is to change your vibration. So if you're sitting there all schlumpy and just feeling like, oh man, today's going to be a rotten day. And there are a lot of people who wake up that way, thinking the same thoughts they thought yesterday and the day before that. So it's all about getting your vibration going. And I mean, you can do that, get out of bed and just, I don't know, bring up your knees and sing a song and be silly. You can change your vibration at any time. And most people think that they can't be happy until they get the thing that they think is going to make them happy, because that's what most of us were taught from very early on, that if you want something, you have to go outside of yourself to get it. But you don't. It's our thoughts and our feelings, our vibration, that creates our reality. So what you're thinking and what you're feeling about what you're thinking is creating things way faster. So it's really, really important to constantly be asking yourself, what am I thinking? And what am I feeling about what I'm thinking? And that is the huge gift that you're going to give yourself. If you take nothing else away from what I say today, that right there will change your world.
Oh, so true, so true. Like, I know that when I'm feeling down in the dumps and I'm feeling stressed out, I just don't get the best ideas, and it just continues and continues. And if you can do tools every day, I know I meditate and I like to walk on the beach, and when I do those things, sometimes I even walk twice, morning and night, to get rid of the extra pent up energy from being focused during the day and working on the computer and all that. When I don't do those things in my day, like the walking and the me time and the meditation, my energy just isn't the best. And so I really want to quickly talk, well, not quickly, I want to talk to you, Nancy, today, because you've got a very unique background. I love the fact that you worked and had a lot of discovery when you entered into the martial art realm. So walk us through your experience with martial arts.
Well, I wanted to take martial arts, oh gosh, probably since I was in the 6th grade, because I am a child of the Bruce Lee era. And I thought, wow, if I could do what he does, if I could fight like he fights, if I could protect myself like he can protect himself, no one would ever hurt me again. And that was my understanding of it. So I really thought that going into the martial arts was about the physical aspect of it, being able to physically defend myself. But it's funny, what's that saying, that man plans and God laughs? And when I entered into the martial arts, I thought it was because of my traumatic childhood. I thought it was a way to find, to protect myself and to keep from being harmed ever again. But the more I studied, the more I understood, the more I learned in the martial arts, the more I understood that martial arts is it's a way of life. It's a way of thinking. It's a mindset. And the movements occupy the physical space, and then that creates a higher mindset space. So when I started teaching self-defense, which is what I actually thought my call was, I thought, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be teaching self-defense to women. And I was so excited because I wanted to pass along and pay it forward, that empowerment piece for women. But teaching self-defense and being a martial artist, it's different. One is a way of life, and one is something that someone wants to spend a little bit of time with you and learn how to defend themselves. So I stepped back and I asked myself, okay, well, if I feel that this is the right direction, if I feel that this is my calling, what am I actually giving to these women? And I realized that it was the mindset portion. I was feeding their mind about what they're able to do and how to let go of the fears, which is the physical part, and start embracing the love of who you are. Because everything is about learning to love yourself. And we talked about that when we talked about inner child work. It's that inner child that doesn't feel loved, that feels like, they were ignored or dismissed, or they weren't good enough. And those feelings and emotions stay with us in our adult self until we recognize them, learn that they're there, accept them, stop resisting them, and heal them and let them go. So if you're feeling guilt is a big one for women, or shame, remorse, anger, degradation, those things are holding you back in your adult life.
Wow, that's amazing. Guys, there's so much you just said in that, Nancy. But firstly, I do want to say, do connect with Nancy. It is on the screen below. Nancy is found at masteringyourbeliefs.com. I know that you had, back in the day, back in your humble beginnings, had a tough a tough upbringing, there was abuse in your background, which led you on this amazing journey to now helping people all around the world, tapping into there and healing their inner child. So someone coming from that kind of background, because I know there's some people out there going, oh, but yes, positive thinking, whatever, it doesn't hurt people who've gone through things. But Nancy, you have gone through things and you've experienced not nice things in your past, but you've overcome them, you've healed them, and now you're moving forward and inspiring and speaking to many, many people around the world, mostly women, but of course you do have tools for men as well, which we'll just discuss at the end. But going through that trauma experience, what was it like going through your journey to healing your inner child? And maybe there was a few aha moments that you had that you'd like to share.
Well, first of all, thank you for asking the question. And second of all, there are no questions that are off limits for me. My life is an open book, literally. There came a point in my life where I realized it's time for me to write books and put my story out there, because when I was in martial arts and I learned to fight, my journey, so if I call it a journey, but it's like that, step, how you go through life. So I thought it was about learning to defend myself. But I realized that just because I could kick ass and take names, that didn't mean that I was really empowered. But I thought that that's what it meant. And what happens is, when you can share your story from a place of power rather than a place of pain, it makes all the difference in the world. So I thought that because I could defend myself and that I was teaching self-defense and that I was teaching this empowerment piece and I was talking about my childhood and what happened, that made me empowered. But my teachers kept telling me, they kept reminding me, Nancy, as long as you are sharing your story and it causes you to break down, to cry, to feel guilty, shame, you have not healed from it yet. And I used to get really angry at my teachers. And I used to think, what's wrong with you? Didn't you just hear me? Didn't you just hear what I said to you? We hold on to our identity so tightly because we're so used to that feeling of whatever it is, the fear, the degradation, the sadness, the victimhood. And when we're holding on to that, I always refer to it as negative or positive, because there's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. There only is at the moment how you feel about any given thought, feeling, emotion, experience, how you perceive it, how you feel about it. So one of the things that my father used to do when I was little is he used to strip me naked in front of our family and beat me with a fiberglass fishing rod, telling me I was being punished. Well, most of the time I couldn't even remember, like, what did I do? What did I do? So afterwards, I would run to my room and I would cry and I would do what most kids do, right? You fall to your knees, you cry, you pray to God, and you say, what's wrong with me? I'll try to be better. I'm trying to be better. I don't know what's wrong with me. Well, you see, many people have been taught that God is this deity in the sky that's judging us. Well, you didn't do this, so now you're being punished. And so we take that in and we think we're being punished for a very good reason. It's a reason we don't understand, but we think punishment is a natural thing. And then when you think about punishment and what punishment makes you feel like, then that begins to be feelings that you are familiar with. And then you have very, very negative emotions that are associated with that. So if you're still holding on to that as an adult, it's affecting you mentally, physically, financially, and spiritually. So you see, my child self, as I explained earlier, we create all of our beliefs in childhood. My child self saw that, intuited that, understood it as I did something wrong. I was bad. I was being punished. But my child self did not know what the word sex addiction was. My child self had no way of knowing that this was my father's lifestyle. This was something that my father was going through. And of course, kids are often innocent bystanders, and they get the brunt of it. So when you take a situation, experience an event, and you think, this is horrible, this happened to me, I can't tell anybody about this. I can't talk about it. And then when you finally start talking about it, and then you feel good to get it out of you, but then you keep talking about it and you keep talking about what happened and how it made you feel, what happened and how it made you feel. You see, you're in that cycle of thinking about it and feeling it and thinking about it and feeling it. So we attract in this universe based on how we feel. That's our vibration. So wherever we're vibrating, that's how we attract back to us. So if you're feeling not good enough, not smart enough, you're going to attract people, events, experiences into your life that match that vibration. So it's really, really powerful to remember to think less and feel more, and your life will start to change. And based on what you said about people out there who are saying, no, you don't know, you don't understand my life. The thing is no one understands anyone else's life. And I've had people say to me like, wow, I thought my life was bad until I heard your story. Now I don't think I even have room to talk. Please be kind to yourself and don't have that conversation with yourself. Because if something happened that caused negative emotions for you, whatever it is, it's your experience, it's your negative emotion, and you deserve to have that healed. Not compare yourself to someone else and say, it wasn't quite as bad as someone else I heard from, so maybe I should just keep my mouth shut. If it's hurting you, you deserve to heal from it and let it go and feel that freedom of how good it feels to love yourself immensely.
I love that. Yeah, because we all have our own journeys, don't we, Nancy? And, we can't compare our journey or our path to someone else. And anything that happens to us, we all have our emotions and feelings around that. And sometimes we just need someone who is in the know, who is professional, that can help and talk to us. So, Nancy, I just love everything about you. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for sharing that story. That's a journey that you had, but now the thing is, I know that there's a bad experience, but there's always good things that come out of, I mean, if we want to talk about COVID for a minute, a bad experience, but there was good things that came out of that as well. You've had so many learnings that has come out of this, and I want to thank you so much for sharing your story. You're amazing. So definitely connect with masteringyourbelief.com. Nancy is all about helping people to nurture and heal their inner child so they can go out and live their dream life. So I would love to have a chat to you about tangible tips, because I know that you're very big on the 3D, 5D realm world. And we had a quick discussion about that the other day, and it's a fascinating concept to me. So maybe we can talk quickly on the 3D and the 5D. And then at the end of this discussion, we can give everyone some tangible tips that you can take away. Maybe you'll do one thing this week or this month differently that can just change your world. And we'll talk about that at the end. But yes, let's get into the discussion about 3D and 5D, how some people are living 3D, but it's not until you know about the 5D that's when your world starts to change. So let's talk about that, Nancy. What are your thoughts?
Yes, 5D will change everything. So 3D, 5D, it's 3-dimension, 5-dimension. So when you are used to living your life outside of yourself, meaning I have to work at this job, this amount of hours to get this amount of money to buy what I want to buy, that's very 3D thinking. That's generationally what most of us, how we were brought up, how many of us were thinking. But 5D understanding is the energetic world that we live in. Remember, I said everything is energy. We look at ourselves, we look at this desk, we look at things and we think everything is solid, but it's not. Everything is energy. It just depends on how quickly or how not quickly things are moving that takes the shape. So when you understand that everything is energy, and you attract based on your energy, which is vibration, which is feelings, now you start to understand why your feelings are so important. And I want to say something about affirmations. There are a lot of people who talk about get up, do your journal, write your affirmations. But a lot of people were taught to write in their journal something like, dear journal, today I'm feeling really down and depressed. And then you start really concentrating on how negative you feel. And when you're putting all that down, what are you doing? All your attention, energy, focus, thoughts, feelings, vibration, you are calibrating to that negative energy. So if you're going to say affirmations and write affirmations, make sure that these affirmations are something that you feel. So if it's difficult for you to get started writing affirmations, like let's say way back when, before I understood all of this, when I was very new to this understanding, if I had written an affirmation, I am good enough, I never need to be ashamed again, that would not have been an affirmation that I could say, speak, think, or feel with a great deal of positive feeling, because I didn't believe it. And remember, a belief is simply a thought that you think over and over and over again. But that's what affirmations are meant to do. Affirmations are meant to be something positive that you say to yourself, that you can change the negative thoughts that are constantly running through your head with something more positive. So if you are saying affirmations as part of your daily routine, and you're saying them just by rote, like, I don't believe this, but I'm going to say it again, understand that it's very important to pay attention to how you're feeling about what you're saying. And if you're feeling the resistance in your affirmations, soften them a little bit. So if you can't yet quite get to that point where I am amazing, then perhaps you can change it to, I'm looking forward to feeling amazing. That will not give you any resistance in your mind. And remember, the conscious and the subconscious mind, one is working while you're awake. That's your conscious mind. And that's where you're looking around. You're saying, oh, I want that new car. Oh, I want more money in the bank. Oh, I want that lover. Or I want that whatever. But your subconscious mind is the one that's holding on to all of your beliefs, your feelings, your emotions, and saying, no, that's not going to happen in our world. So you want your conscious and your subconscious mind to be in agreement. And that's what the verse means when it says, when two people come together, they create a third mind, the mastermind. They're not talking about people. They're talking about the conscious and the subconscious mind. So when two or more minds come together, the conscious and the subconscious, and they're in agreement, that's when you start creating things that are beyond what you can even imagine. So stop putting limitations on yourself and pay attention to what you're in resistance to, and then soften it up and make it say something that helps you to feel really positive about yourself. And the thing is, if there's something that you really, really want, and you're saying affirmations like, I want a new car, I want a new car, I want a new car, and you're thinking, think about your current car, or maybe you don't have a car. If all of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions are going towards the jalopy that you're driving right now, or the car that you don't have, this is why you're having challenges bringing what you want into your life, because you're not focused on what you want, you're focused on what you don't want. And remember, everything is about how you feel. So pay attention to what you're thinking and what you're feeling. Always, will always lead you in the right direction.
Oh, I love that so much. We're always looking at the negatives. What we're fat, we're this, we're that, focused on the outside world, what we don't have. But why don't we just change that up a little bit? Because I think someone very famous in this world said once, if you keep on doing the same thing over and over again, isn't that the definition of insanity? Well, if it's not working, why don't we change it? And I always like to change one thing every single month, because that can create one new habit that can set you up for success. And that's in a little segue to talk about my book. So we're going to go to a commercial to talk about my book for a second, Nancy. We'll bring you right back and we'll chat about what is it that you can do, one new thing today that can help you find success. So guys, wow, isn't Nancy amazing? I love everything that is all about inspiring greatness within. As you know, that's why I bring on these amazing guest speakers to give their amazing knowledge and share their stories, and then give their tangible tips so that you can go out and live your dream life. But in my book, called Heart Queen, which is not here right now for the viewers, but it is available on Amazon. Heart Queen. It's all about finding success mindset. So I share in every single chapter my stories, and at the end of the chapter, you can actually find a habit that you can do, one new habit every single month to set yourself up with success, my friends. And the profits go to a non-for-profit organization to help kids in poverty all around the world. So go on over Amazon, Heart Queen by Laura Viskovich. Go and get your copy. And I actually wrote it so that teenagers could read this book, so it could set themselves up with a successful mindset, so they can go out and build businesses. They can go out and be an author. They can go out and do whatever they want to do. And it all starts with a positive mindset. So Amazon, guys, go on out and get your copy of Heart Queen. And if you do want to connect to our community, I go live every single week with amazing stories and tips that you can find self-confidence. Yes, self-confidence starts from within as well. And so if you want to join our community, laurajane.com.au. Let's bring back the beautiful Nancy. This is a great conversation for a Saturday morning for Australia. And of course, if you're in America, is it Friday afternoon?
It is almost 3 p.m.
Amazing, amazing. So I just love you, Nancy, because you are all about living inside and out. And it's so easy to live in this world. And thank you guys so much for tuning into the live. As you're tuning in, tell us where you're tuning in from. We want to know. I'm from Sydney, Australia. Where are you tuning in from, Nancy?
Fullerton, California.
I love it. And if you have any questions about living a successful life, put it in the chat. We do have some minutes at the end to address your questions. But let's talk, because I know you have so much knowledge about living inside out. When we're so focused on the outside world, that's when we we can fall into those struggles. But when we tune into our heart and into our spirit, that's when the true magic happens. I will say this before I ask Nancy a question. My life in business, I started in business as a 26-year-old with no business experience. I thought I could never start my own business because I don't have a business degree. Someone gave me the belief. They said, no, you definitely can have your own business because you have a skill. You should go out and just try it. Why not? And I was like, but I can't. I don't have a business degree. And that person asked me, what do you need? And I said, well, I need a website. I need equipment. I need a script. Is that it? Oh, I need a tax thing. Is that it? Yeah, I think so. So I did those 4 things over the course of 6 months, and then boom, I just gradually did it. Within that first year, I had to ask people for help because I had so much work. 4 years later, I had an office in level 20 in a beautiful area in Chatswood, Sydney, with people working for me in contracting sort of a style. So anyways, and I'm still in business today, 12 years later. So the thing is, you can do the life that you live. Sometimes it just all takes a little belief and a little helping hand from the people who've gone ahead of you. And I will say, in my business, I've had struggles when I've got into my head and not stayed in my heart. So that's why we have Nancy here today. We're going to ask Nancy, what is it, that one thing that you can do different this week or this month that can help you find success from living inside out?
I can tell you one thing you can start doing right this minute will change everything. Smile. You might think that, what good is that? But pay attention. I would pay attention. You'll probably see that most of the time you're kind of like this, or at rest face, or at sad face, or frown face, based on what you're thinking. Because when you're thinking negative thoughts, you're certainly not smiling. You're like pensive. You're thinking. So this is all energy. And the energy in the body, remember, all you have to do is think a more positive thought. So start with a smile. And if you're ready to move to the second step, create a happy list. I love sharing this exercise. You want a list of at least 150 things that make you happy. So on those times when you are feeling down, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling high anxiety, if you take a look at your happy list and you go, oh yeah, that makes me happy. That makes me happy. You're going to watch, and pretty soon you're going to start to smile as you think of those things that make you happy. And you realize, like, yeah, these things do make me happy. You don't have to change anything in your life other than think a more positive thought and raise your feeling and your vibration. And if you can hold on to that for 16 seconds, it starts to change the energy and the vibration in your body. And then if you can hold it for another 16 seconds and another 16 seconds, pretty soon you start to feel more positive, and you'd rather reach for something even more positive than something negative. It's a surefire. I promise you.
I love that so much. A happy list. Write down a happy list today, guys, and look at it every day and feel it for 16 seconds. Really feel it in your body. And then I want to hear about it. So if you have any aha moments from doing this one new thing this week, tell us in the chat or do a post about it. I really want to hear it and cheer you on to finding the successful life of your dreams. Go on over, connect with Nancy. She is amazing. MasteringYourBeliefs.com.au. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll put the link below. If you're on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, you can see it on the screen right here, MasteringYourBeliefs.com. Before we go, Nancy, I want to know, is there one book that you just like change your life or that you just get so excited when you think about it? Like, is there a book that you absolutely love that you want to share today?
A book that I read from someone else?
Yes.
You know, I want to say I probably share this book more than I share my own books. It's by the author John Strelecki, Strelekky, and it's called The Why Cafe, WHY. It's a very small book. It's a very short read. I've had it for years. I can't tell you how many times I read it. Sometimes I just pick it up and read it, and it will change the way you think. And John is doing amazing things, and I've been blessed to interview him twice. So it's working.
I love that so much, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have so many people on the live right now, and that is the end of this session. But if you like these beautiful sessions where we get amazing stories and share tangible tips that can help you find the confidence from within and go out and enjoy that dream life, then you just got to subscribe, like, comment, and share, and just share the love. Hey, why don't you give us a love right now? Put that little emoji, a love, love, love. I'm giving it right back at you. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. And Nancy, you're amazing.
Thank you, Laura. So are you.
Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story and your knowledge. You're a beautiful heart, soul, light in this world. And I thank you for everything that you do. So, guys, that's it. laurajane.com.au. Come on over. See us on the inside of Inspired Greatness Within. And remember, guys, you are worth it. You're meant for greatness. Whatever that is for you, you're meant to go out and live the life of your dreams. Have a great day. Have a good weekend. Bye now. Thanks, Nancy.
Hi, I'm Laura. Since I was young, I had a little voice in my head that said, why are we here? And there must be something more. I've spent years researching about life and why some people find massive success and some don't. So let's connect here weekly and talk about topics that will elevate our soul and inspire greatness from within. This is the I Am Laura podcast show, where sparkling inside out will empower our tomorrow.